Another day, another story. The Battle of Waterloo, fought on June 18, 1815, was a significant battle in European history that marked the final defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte and the end of his reign as the Emperor of the French. Welcome to Thibaut Eminent Channel. It took place near the town of Waterloo in present-day Belgium and involved the forces of Napoleon's French army and an allied coalition led by the Duke of Wellington and Field Marshal Blücher. After his escape from exile on the island of Elba in February 1815, Napoleon returned to France and regained power during a period known as the 100 Days. His return prompted a coalition of European powers, including Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia, to form once again to confront him. The Allied forces planned to engage Napoleon and defeat him decisively to prevent any further threat to European stability. On June 16, 1815, the French army, numbering around 72,000 soldiers, crossed the border into present-day Belgium, aiming to quickly defeat the Prussian army before the British could reinforce them. Napoleon hoped to divide and conquer the Allied forces, preventing them from uniting against him. However, the Prussian forces, commanded by Field Marshal Gebhard von Blücher, skillfully retreated, luring Napoleon deeper into Belgium while waiting for reinforcements. Meanwhile, the Duke of Wellington, leading a combined force of British, Dutch, Belgian, and German troops, positioned his army near the village of Waterloo, south of Brussels. He chose this location because it offered a strong defensive position with ridges and hills that could help his troops fend off the French assaults. On the morning of June 18, the French army launched a series of attacks on Wellington's positions at Waterloo. The battle began with a French assault on the fortified farmhouse of Hougoumont, which was held by British troops. Despite fierce fighting, the British successfully defended the position, forcing the French to divert valuable resources to the assault. Meanwhile, Napoleon's plan to divide the Allied forces seemed to be working when a heavy rainstorm delayed the arrival of the Prussian army. This allowed him to concentrate his forces on Wellington's army, hoping for a decisive victory before the Prussians could join the battle. Throughout the day, the French launched several attacks on Wellington's positions, but the Allied troops held their ground, withstanding the French onslaught. Wellington skillfully used his infantry, artillery, and cavalry to repel the French attacks and maintain his defensive lines. The British thin red line formation, combined with disciplined musket fire, proved crucial in repulsing the French assaults. As the afternoon progressed, the Prussian army, with around 48,000 soldiers, under the command of Blücher, began arriving on the battlefield. They attacked the French right flank, diverting French troops from the battle with Wellington. This unexpected development put immense pressure on Napoleon's forces, which were already engaged in a fierce struggle with the British. By late afternoon, the Allied forces held their positions, and the Prussian attacks on the French right flank intensified. Napoleon's troops were exhausted, and their morale started to waver. Sensing an opportunity, Wellington ordered a coordinated assault on the French line, known as the Battle of Mont Saint-Jean. The Allied forces, supported by the fresh Prussian arrivals, pushed forward and broke through the weakened French center. The French army, facing collapse, began to retreat. Panic spread through Napoleon's troops, and they fled the battlefield in disarray. The Battle of Waterloo resulted in a decisive victory for the Allied forces. The French army suffered heavy casualties and lost around 25,000 soldiers, while the Allied losses amounted to approximately 22,000. The battle marked the end of Napoleon's rule and his final attempt to dominate Europe. He abdicated on June 22, 1815, and was subsequently exiled to the island of St. Helena, where he died in 1821. The Battle of Waterloo had far-reaching consequences for Europe. It solidified Britain's position as a dominant world power and led to a period of relative peace in Europe known as the Concert of Europe. It also contributed to the reshaping of European borders and the restoration of monarchies that had been overthrown by Napoleon's conquests. Commanders. The Duke of Wellington, commander of the Allied forces, was a skilled British general who had previously defeated Napoleon's forces in the Peninsular War. Marshal, one of Napoleon's most trusted commanders, played a crucial role in leading the French attacks. Cavalry charges. The Battle of Waterloo is renowned for its dramatic cavalry charges. The most famous of these is the charge of the British heavy cavalry, known as the Charge of the Scots Greys, which struck fear into the hearts of the French infantry. However, The French cavalry charges, particularly those led by Marshal Ney, were also fierce and had a significant impact on the battle. La Belle Alliance. The inn located at the crossroads near the battlefield, known as La Belle Alliance, served as Napoleon's headquarters during the battle. After his defeat, the name became associated with the battle itself. Artillery. The battle witnessed the extensive use of artillery by both sides. The French, renowned for their skill in artillery tactics, deployed a large number of cannons. The British utilized cannons in an innovative way, using them to create a defensive line and repel infantry attacks. The Imperial Guard attack. As a last desperate attempt, Napoleon ordered his elite Imperial Guard to attack the center of the Allied line. The Guard was considered the best infantry in the French army, but they were repulsed by a combination of disciplined musket fire. Hougoumont Farm. The defense of Hougoumont Farm, a key position held by the British, was a significant aspect of the battle. The British soldiers fought tenaciously to hold the farm against repeated French assaults, diverting crucial French resources from the main battle. The weather. The battle took place after heavy rainstorms, which resulted in muddy and difficult terrain. The weather conditions hindered the movement of troops and artillery, impacting the battle strategies of both sides. Medical innovations. The Battle of Waterloo witnessed some medical innovations. British surgeon Sir Charles Bell introduced the use of horse-drawn ambulances to quickly evacuate wounded soldiers from the battlefield. Personal accounts. Many first-hand accounts of the battle exist, providing vivid descriptions of the chaos, brutality, and heroism on the battlefield. These accounts offer valuable insights into the experiences of soldiers and commanders during the battle. Legacy. The Battle of Waterloo had a profound impact on European history. It marked the end of the Napoleonic era, led to the restoration of the Bourbon monarchy in France, and set the stage for a century of relative peace in Europe. The name, Waterloo, has since entered the English language as a metaphor for a decisive defeat or a final confrontation. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.